One day, Yen Si saw a very auspicious planetary alignment. Curious, he sought news only to discover that the venerable Lao Tzu had decided to leave his position at the Royal Archives and renounce the world. Yen Si hurried toward the mountains, searching for the wise master, afraid that his wisdom would be lost forever. His quest was finally over when he caught up with Lao Tzu near the Hankou Pass. Yen Si humbly approached Lao Tzu and said, "Revered sir, you are such a wise man, and these are such troubled times. Could you write just a few words to help man understand the nature of things?" Lao Tzu was so moved by this plea that he immediately sat down on the prayer rug that Yen Si provided for him. Then, with the stroke of his brush and a handful of bamboo sticks, the spiritual masterpiece referred to as the Tao Te Ching came to be. This book of 5,000 words contains powerful insights into the nature of all things in the universe. The Tao is considered by many the most powerful teaching the world has known. Please join us this week on Aspire as we explore the Tao of Creativity. Welcome to Aspire. I'm very grateful that once again you chose to be with us as we continue in our series on From the Heart of the Tao. We're going to be working in this particular program and focusing our attention on creativity. Creativity isn't what we think. We often think that other people are more creative than us because they're artistic. But I say that the art to life is how you live, and your creativity to find meaning and value in your life is found strictly in the Tao. Let me read to you number 42, because this is what we're going to be working on in this particular program. The Tao begat one, one begat two, and two begat three, and three begat the 10,000 things. The 10,000 things carry yin and embrace yang. They achieve harmony by combining these forces. For one gains by losing and loses by gaining. When we hear the word creativity, some standard images arise in us. The dictionary defines creativity as the state of being creative. Big help. Look up create and we get to cause, to come into being. Well, maybe it would help to look at the people we think of as creative. Who do we know who has created something to come into being? Someone I think of is Leonardo Da Vinci. As a mathematician or as an inventor, an astronomer, a scientist, and a painter, to name just a few, he gave us the Mona Lisa, the camera, and laid the foundation for much of our science, our aeronautics, and medicine of today. His work was so incredible that many, including Da Vinci, claimed that he was divinely inspired. E equals mc squared. Einstein gave us the theory of relativity, among countless theories of physics, atomics, and electronics that are valuable tools that we're using to take us into the 21st century. Einstein credited a higher power for his great discoveries. The same is true for the creative people of today.
I think it's a spiritual place. I don't know what other name to call it because it is inside. And it comes out when you least expect it, so it's something that elusive. It's very elusive.
The best things happen when you're just doing it really fast without thinking. Usually your worst designs are when you think about it a lot. You're better off doing something spontaneous. Those are usually where you get your best ideas, where it just happens.
It is important to remember that creativity is not limited to the arts. The process of creativity is contained in all that we do. I like what Lao Tzu said. The 10,000 things carry yin and embrace yang. They achieve harmony by combining these forces. So I'd like to change the definition of creativity just a wee bit here. Rather than saying that we cause to come into being, we should see creativity as allowing to come into being. So all of us have access to creativity. In this particular edition of Aspire, we're going to look at creativity and who really causes it as we delve into the Tao of Creativity. Come aspire with us. The whole art to life is very simple. It's in allowing. And the more allowance we have within ourselves, the more life will mean to us, and the more we will find life moving through us. We don't often take that approach with life, and that's why we have such a difficulty with life as an allowance. Life is coming at us from all directions. Look at your life. Sitting wherever you are right now, life is coming at you from all directions. But we miss it. We miss it because we are not aware of the Tao of creativity that lives within us. Creativity is not to bring something that wasn't in form into form. Rather, creativity is an allowance. It is where I get out of the way and I allow something greater than myself to emerge through me, where I do not touch it. I don't try to make it mine. I allow it to be whatever it is without the idea of thinking that it could be better, it could be greater, other people should see it. No, creativity is allowing me to flow. It's allowing me to be non-resistant, so non-resistant in my life that I'm willing to take the effort within myself not to critique what it is that is coming through me. The critiquing of creativity is the greatest problem that we have, because the moment we look at something that we've done, we paint or we write or we sculpt or we do anything, gardening, anything can be an art form, anything. Our job, whatever we do, it can all be art. But if we are critiquing it, if we are looking at it from a critical point of view, that's when we miss it. The Tao of creativity. It is simply allowing myself to have the privilege in my own life of allowing things to move through me, not thinking they come from me. In the Tao, we read one of the most important passages, that those who gain lose, and those who lose will gain. It's quite the opposite in our society, isn't it? To us, the whole idea of gaining is the most important thing in the world, and we can't imagine that by losing, we could gain anything. Our whole effort in our society is to gain so we won't lose. And that is the problem with our prosperity, that is the problem with our happiness, and that is the problem with our love. One of the reasons we find it so difficult to love one another, even to love ourselves, and to find self-acceptance is because we are too busy trying to gain. Creativity is an allowance, a non-resistance in me, where I am willing to lose everything, just to find myself in creativity. I'm not concerned about what I'm creating or what is moving through me. Again, I'm not worried about critiquing it. All I'm concerned about is getting out of the way enough to let the flow come through whatever it needs to come through in me. That is the most beautiful moment in life. And while we're having kind of an intimate moment, let me just say this to you. It will be the greatest experience of your life when you allow it. It's better than anything you've ever imagined. Wealth, power, sex, fame, and fortune. There is nothing like creativity, because it's not of our doing. It's nothing that we are doing. It's something more that we are allowing. When Lao Tzu says to us, those who gain have to lose much, and those who lose much really do gain, he is saying to us, do you want it so much? Are you willing so much to allow the process to occur that you're willing to lose your sense of right and wrong, of good and bad, of right and wrong in the sense of what is right and wrong for you, what is right and wrong for your life, what is right and wrong for the world, your sense of good and bad and the idea of what you think is good for people, what you think is bad for people. Are you willing to lose all of that? You see, that's the fear that we have, because we lose control at that point. Our minds are saying, if I don't condone good things, and if I don't berate bad things, and if I don't make good things happen, and I might allow bad things to happen, I'm out of control. Something terrible might happen. And that's the risk you have to take in yourself, because it's all an illusion. I want you to consider something just for a moment. In life, do you think God looks at life and says, this is good and this is bad, this is right and this is wrong? Do you think that God looks at an apple tree and says, you are better than a rose? No. There is no fighting among nature. Every single plant, every single bird in the air, every single element of nature has its own specific beauty. They're not competing against each other. They are a part of the flow and the harmony of this world. And there are very few people in the world who really understand that. That is the Tao of life. When I am willing to lose my sense of what I think is beautiful and ugly, when I'm willing to lose my sense of right and wrong, when I'm willing to lose my sense of what I think is, well, beautiful, ugly, right, wrong, good, bad, true, untrue, all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, something very unique happens. A flow, a dance, a harmony, a blessing begins to arise. Now, without me being involved at all, something has moved through me that is greater than myself. That is being a channel. That is the infinite speaking through us. But there is a caution here that I have to warn you about. In doing this, there are some frightening moments. There are mistakes and there are blunders. There are feelings sometimes within ourselves of insecurity rising up because we have a control issue problem. We think we have to control our life. And we think if we are not controlling it and guiding it, that something is wrong with us and something might be wrong with our life. If you can let go, as the old saying says, and let God, without having the control factor in there, that's when your creativity will occur. I deal with many people. Most people are looking for something they don't have. They're looking for a new job, a new career. They're looking for some happiness or something that they think in their life, a missing element is there, the missing link. And they look for it in all sorts of things: education, money, power, prestige, objects. But you won't find it there. The missing element in our life is creativity. We all want it. We all have it, and that is the element that is missing out of our life. You don't need to take another trip to Europe, and you don't need to read another book to find your own creativity. It lives within you. The question is, will you allow yourself to bend with creativity? Will you allow yourself to be shaped through creativity? Will you allow something new to take over within you without you interfering with what is happening within the process itself? If you can begin to look at yourself as the very process of creativity, you will find that all of life is creative. You won't miss a single beat because now you are beating with the heart of the Tao, the synchronicity of life. Now your heart isn't just pumping blood to keep your body alive. You feel the rhythm of your heart and the spirit behind your heart. You are allowing your heart to breathe through you, and that is the greatest creative process there is. Just simple breathing is the creative process of our life. You can learn a lot about your breathing because in it is the secrets of life, the secret of you and the secret of God. And the secret of God is only one thing. How willing are you to allow God to move through you without, again, your critique, without your fear, and without the idea that with restraint on God or restraint in the process of it, that you will be secure. I think there's a divine insecurity that all of us must move through in our life. It's a strange feeling. You kind of let go, allow the Tao to move through you, allow the life to move through you, and you're never really quite sure what's going to come out. You have to trust in the process. There has to be a time when you take the leap. You don't look before you leap. You leap into your heart. You can look later. You can question later. Then thinking can't hurt you. It's when you take the jump into your heart that you find that life has been waiting for you, that life is prepared for you, that life has been prepared for you and through you. The Tao of Creativity, it's just allowing God to have the will and the way through you. Namaste. And now, let's allow the Tao of Creativity to flow through us. the Tao of Creativity, let me give you some how-tos. The first one is simply this, and it's something that you have to decide upon in your own self, and that is, are you willing to allow a higher power to move through you other than yourself? Now, your answer is, well, of course I'm willing for that. But stop a minute. There's a lot to give up to allow the higher power to move through you. The truth of us is simply this: we can't have any more than where we are right now because we interfere. Are you willing to let go of the whole concept of yourself? Let go of your willful ways, the way you think is right and wrong, up and down, in and out. Now, if you're willing to let go of all of that, that's when the higher power can move through you, move through me. It's only when I'm in the way, when I'm judging and analyzing and directing my life and controlling my life. You see, this whole concept of allowing a higher power to move through us, it actually frightens us. We want it to move through us while we stay the same person, and it can't happen that way. You see, we have to be willing to let go and allow for the spirit of life, the spirit of the Tao to move through us. It can't come through us the way we are because we filter it too much. We want our prayers answered while we don't change. We want God to give us something while we don't change. It doesn't work like that. That's conventional thought, conventional religion. If you and I are willing for a higher power to work through us, then we must be willing to let go of everything that might occur. And that leads me to the second thing, and that is simply this: are you willing to let go, deeply let go, of your one-sided point of view? I think people are too opinionated. All of us are. The longer we live, the more we develop opinions, and then we call them beliefs or faith. And we misconstrue the idea of belief and faith because we use that as a label for our point of view, our one-sided point of view. And when we are one-sided in our point of view, we miss life. There is the yin and the yang of life, both of them, the male and the female. If I have too much yin, I will not understand the middle path. If I have too much yang, I will not understand the middle path. True creativity is the spaces between yin and yang, between the male and the female. If you want to know what creativity is, it's an occurrence within us. It's when the yin is allowed to be dominated by the yang, when the male and the female are finally working together. Letting go of your one-sided point of view about the way you think life should be and the way life is the biggest door to allowing the creative spirit to flow through you. That's when you and I are not directing our life, we are allowing our life. Now the third thing, deeply important. You must learn to allow. You must allow everything to move through you without you resisting it or being hesitant about it. The moment you hesitate about allowing the spirit of the Tao to move through you or life to move through you, you and I have lost it. You must listen to that still small voice that lives within you and then follow it. I love what Buddha said. It's so compassionate. He said, be a light unto yourself. No one in the history of humanity has ever been so respectful of the creative process. Be a light unto yourself. Listen to that still small voice, which is the light that lives within yourself, and then follow it. Wherever it leads you, it is good. But you must follow it without hesitation. 2 words, allow and be. Allow life to come through you and be with the life as it comes through you. You are never too old and you are never too young to be creative. Creativity has no age. It is simply a quality of your spirit. And when you are deeply aware of the quality of your spirit, you will see that the Tao moves through you. And creativity is a doing by non-doing. It is an action without act. It is simply the very movement of your breath, of your spirit, and of your being. The Tao is a very interesting quality in life. It lives within us, and for many of us, we're beginning not to be able to ignore it like we used to. We're beginning to honor and respect that creative process. As we begin to do that, meaning and significance to our life is added, and now nothing is taken for granted. Everything is as it should be. It is creative, it is a part of the whole. I hope you've enjoyed this series on the creativity of the Tao. When you find the Tao of creativity, then creativity has nothing to do with the form of, well, painting or writing or sculpting or any of that. You find that creativity is just living, just your basic life, how you live your life, the way you live your life. The way we live our life can either be an art form or it can be a form of great personal tragedy. It's interesting to think that we can always live our life in an artistic way. Doesn't mean that you have to be a master painter or a writer or a sculptor. It simply means you live your life in a way that is meaningful to you. That's the art of life. Allowing life to be a dance, allowing life to be a happy situation, and also sometimes a sad one. It's the grace of just living. And when you find the Tao within you, then life becomes very creative. It becomes an art. It is the art of moving with the flow of life, just as it flows, and allowing life to be exactly what it is meant to be. A reason for our experience and experimenting with the depth of ourselves and the love of ourselves. So if you don't feel creative sometimes, don't let that bother you. Watch and see how your life flows and moves. Practice some of the principles that I gave to you in this program. Maybe some of the ones where we talked about allowing the life force, a greater one than yourself, to move through you. There, life becomes an art. It's no longer what you do, it's who you are. And that is the truest art of life, who you are. The more you work with your heart, the closer to your heart you become, the more fluidity will happen, and the more life will become a Tao of being and a Tao of living. I hope you enjoyed this program on the Tao of creativity. It's something that every single one of us can practice if we so desire. I want to thank you for allowing us to share with you, and we'll see you next time on Aspire. Namaste.